data structures.
Linear and non-linear.
Linear and non-linear. And in linear, we started with the arrays. Arrays we have already studied in C. So it is nothing but a sequence of elements of the same data type, and they are referenced using the index number of the subscript. So after that, we started with the linear data structure called linked list. A linked list is nothing but a collection of nodes, right? Again, a node is consisting of two parts. One is data part, the other one is the link part. Link part will be having the pointer to the next node. So each of this linked list node will be connected to two other nodes, right? Then only it forms a linear sequence. So it will be having a previous node and a next node. Each node will be having a previous node and a next node. So we will learn more about linked list in the upcoming chapters. So as of now, you have to write linked list as a sequence or a list of nodes or a collection of nodes where each node contains a data field and a link to the next node. So it will be having two parts. One part will be having the data. As we had numbers in arrays, same like that, those numbers will be kept in the data part. And in the link part, we will be having the address. Address means that pointers will be having the address of the next node, right? Or another variable like that. Here, each node will be having two parts. One will be the data part. The other part will be having the pointer to the next node. So we cannot always assume that linked list nodes are all having continuous location or continuous memory location, but still it may be one node may be in one address location and the other one will be in somewhere far away. But the only thing is all the nodes are connected with a single link. Okay, so that makes linked list as a linear data structure. Now this linked list will be starting with a head node and ending with a null. So the thing is, like in the head node, we will be having only the address of the first node. And in the last node, no, we will be having it will be having the data part, and in the link part, it will, as there is no more address or there is no more nodes to be connected, it will be having a null. Instead of a pointer, we have studied last semester that a pointer will be can have only two values, either the address of another variable or it can have null, right? So here, as there are no more nodes to be connected, for the last node, it will be having a null. Got it? So this will be the structure of a linked list. We will learn more about it in the chapter of linked list. Okay. So as of now, we just need to write for this classification of data structure, we need to write only the definition of a linked list. After that comes the linear data structure called stacks. Stacks are nothing but, again, an example for the linear data structure in which it follows the system of last in, first out. I had already explained, it is just like our stack of plate in which the last plate which is being kept will be taken away first, right? So last in, first out is a system in which the insertion and deletion, you have to keep it in mind that in stack, both the operation of insertion and deletion take place only at one end, that is our top end. Got it? So here I have shown the element is inserted into the stack and element is removed from the stack from the top end of the stack. That's why the system is called the last in, first out. So the operation of inserting an element into the stack is also known as pushing an element, and removing an element from the stack is also known as pop. So this is what is known as stack. Now the next linear data structure is queue, as I had told. So in queue, we follow the first in, first out, just like our queue of that is waiting for our payment of the fee. Students are waiting for the payment of the fee. So again, the queue will be having two ends. Here, the queue is following a first in, first out system. First in, first out system. It is also known as FIFO system. So in which both the operation, like one operation called the deletion, the other one is the insertion. So deletion will be taking place at the front end. You just compare it with our queue waiting for a payment of the fee in the office. So whenever a student is paying the fee, he will be getting removed from the queue from the front end. And when a new person or when a new student enters the queue, he will be added up at the rear end. So you can write queue as a system which follows first in, first out. These are the points which you have to note down in your note. And the two operation of deletion and insertion take place at two different ends. So what is the difference between the stack and the queue? You have to figure it out. So as I told, in stack we follow. So here you see in stack we told LIFO system. Here in queues we follow the FIFO system. And in stack we have both the operation of insertion and deletion taking place at the top end. Only one end stack is having. While for the queue, what will happen? Insertion will happen at the rear end, and the deletion will take place at the front end. And what is the operation of insertion in what is it called in queue? In queues, the operation of insertion is also known as NQ, and the operation of deletion is known as DQ. Okay, so in stack we were telling it as push and pop. In queue we are naming it as NQing and DQing. Now we are moving on to the nonlinear data structure. So as I told, there are two examples of nonlinear data structure what we are going to study in this chapter, in this semester. One is graph. Graphs are nothing but a collection of nodes and vertices. So these nodes are also known as vertices, nodes and edges. Sorry, graphs are nothing but a collection of nodes and edges. So these nodes are also known as vertices. So this will be each edge will be connecting two nodes, a pair of nodes. So the examples for again the graphs can be either undirected or directed. So what do you mean by directed graph? If direction is marked on the edge, then it is known as a directed graph. You know, if you are so I'll just when we are learning more about graphs, we will come to see that if an arrow is marked on the edge which is connecting two nodes, then it is known as a directed graph. So a graph which is having all the edges marked with an arrow which indicate the direction in which the edges are moving, it determines whether it is an incoming edge or an outgoing edge. So such graphs are known as the directed graphs. The graphs in which the direction is not mentioned is known as an undirected graph. Now, this will be the definition of a graph. So graph consists of finite set of vertices. Vertices are also known as nodes, and a set of edges which connect a pair of nodes. So each of these edges means this line which connects the two nodes. Each of the edges will be connecting a pair of nodes. So each edge, it will not be left without ending with a node. So each edge will be connecting two nodes or two vertices. So this will be the definition of a graph. Sorry. The next topic is our nonlinear data structure is trees. As you have seen in the in the previous class, trees are also similar to that of the graphs, but it's more organized and it is in the form of a hierarchy. So it stores information in the hierarchical style. Got it? So this is just like our inverted tree with a root node at the top. So the data items are arranged in branches and sub-branches, and they are represented by, again, vertices which are connected by the edges. And it is having many levels because we are arranging the data in the hierarchical style. It will be having levels. So level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And each node in the higher level which is connected to the two nodes in the lower level, they are also named as parent node and the child node. So we will study more about it in the chapter for trees. So there are many terms which are related to trees, just the two nodes which are connected to the same parent can also be called as siblings, right? And if we consider it as a tree, and the last nodes, we will be named, which is not connected to any other nodes, where will be named, or the end nodes, we are naming it as leaf nodes. So we will learn more about trees in the upcoming chapter 4, which is entirely about trees. So for the sake of classification of data structure, we need to write only the definition of trees. So hope everything is clear now. So we are moving on to the next topic, that is linear and non-linear data structure. What are the basic difference? So in linear data structure, so we studied both linear and non-linear. So as I was repeating, linear data structure, every item is related to its previous and next item. I was telling about linked list also in arrays. We have seen it is each item is connected only to maximum 2 items. That is one previous item, the other one will be the next item. But in non-linear data structure, every item is attached with many other items. There is no limit to the number of items. It is not 2. So here it will be many other items. And data is arranged in a linear data structure, data is arranged in a linear sequence, but while in non-linear data structure, it is not arranged in a sequence or a linear sequence. And data items can be traversed in linear data structure. We have seen in arrays, we can traverse through the elements in the array in a single run, means in a single traversal without any backtracking. We can traverse through all the elements in an array. How we were traversing using a for loop with the I variable ranging from 0 to the length of the array. We were able to, if you want to print all the elements in the array, what we were doing, we were using a for loop, right? And then we were just printing all the elements by incrementing the control variable I plus plus, right? And then we will be printing the value of array at that particular index. So in a single run, we can just traverse through all the elements in the array if it is a linear data structure. But in the case of non-linear data structure, it cannot be traversed in a single run. We will see in the case of trees and the graph, we will see in this chapter that we have to go once forward and then again backtrack and then move to the next node to print all the elements in a tree or a graph. So there is a process of tracking and backtracking. So we have to come back the way we have gone and then again print. So we cannot traverse all the items in a single run. So that becomes more difficult to implement all the operations which we are going to have in a linear and non-linear data structure. So you can just write implementation of all the operations is easy in linear data structure, while it is difficult in the case of non-linear data structure. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now onwards, I have to see the notes. Daily, I'll be checking with the notes. In the first class, because it was just introduction, I was not hosting. So the classification of data structure, I'll be keeping the assignment topic also. So you have to, I'll post the questions today. Already for BSc students, I gave the presentation topics. Understood? So you have to, the portions which I have not taken, I had asked them to prepare and come, because when you learn like that, you will learn more about it. When you search internet and find those PPTs and find the correct one, which is according to your syllabus, and only the content which you need for the degree. So that much you have to understand and learn. And if you learn more also, it is good for you. So it's not like after I take, you have to take. You have to find the presentation topic, and I really want to appreciate those students. Some students, they are not that much active in the class, but when they record and send the presentation, really it is very good. Some students, some girls also, they're very smart in taking and sending the videos of presentation. Some of them are very shy in the class, but when the recorded videos of presentation, when I see, it's very good. So some are having the capability and some are very good in doing the presentation. So you have to do it. Whatever topic you find like difficult, you can ask me. But otherwise, you search net and see, you will gain more knowledge. Bhagya and some Archana, somebody, like I felt it. Now I don't remember, but I will note it down now. I really, I was thinking these students were not talking that much in the class, but they were taking the presentations very nicely. So you have to, boys also very good they were doing. So this time also you have to record and send. So it will be easy for you if you once prepare and take the presentation. No, I'm giving marks if you are just sending me also. I'm just seeing and then giving you marks. Okay, not for the marks, but for your personality development and the content. You know, if you once prepare, you will understand. To prepare a presentation with even if it is like it's under your control, right? It's not directly live. You are making a presentation. Even if you are recording also, how much time you will be taking to prepare and record. So by that process, you know, you will learn something. Okay, I will give you the presentation topic. In most of the other classes, you know, like I think in BSc psychology and those, you know, they will be taking the topics which I have not taken also. They will assign one unit for them. So I'm not telling I will not take, but if you prepare by yourself, then if you are answering in between, it will be good. I will not feel bad. So I'll be happy if you are answering in between. So you prepare. I'll just post it whenever I'm getting time. I will be during these practical hours. I'll be asking you to take the presentations. Okay. So many practical hours are there. I think per batch there are 2 hours. So mostly I'll be asking next week onwards, I'll be asking you to take the presentations. Okay. So Kaushik, just now you joined, huh? Kaushik, tell me.
No, ma'am. I have joined earlier.
Okay, tell me what are the different classifications for the data structure? Classification of data structure.
Linear and non-linear.
Before that, one more classification was here, right? Before linear and non-linear is coming under which category? Okay, some examples for the linear data structure.
Primitive and non-primitive, ma'am.
Primitive and non-primitive. And then after, so tell me what is linear, examples for linear data structure?
Array, linked section, and queues.
Okay, good. Then about non-linear data structure?
Trees and graphs, ma'am.
Okay. So now we are moving on to the data structure operations. So as we told, we are storing the data. After that, we are doing some operations. Data structures are used for what we are using. It's a format for storing the data, retrieving, and then processing the data. So till now we were talking of only storing of data in a linear fashion and a non-linear fashion. Storing of data is over. Now we have to know what are the operations possible on these stored data in the data structures. If we want to store it linearly, we will be using linear data structure. If we want to store it non-linearly, we will be using trees and graph. That and all, it's clear. But after storing, we have to do some operations on it, right? Then only there is some purpose of storing the data. So what are the operations which are possible on this data structure? The data appearing in the data structure are processed by means of operations. Got it? The data which we are storing in the data structure are processed by means of some operations. So what are those operations? This is again one important question for the university exam. After the classification of data structure, they used to ask the various operations on the data structure. So we will see what are the various operations. Traversing. The second one is searching, inserting, deleting, storing, sorting, and merging. So these are the operations which are possible on the data structure. So we'll just list out and find the definitions. I'll explain one by one. So traversing is nothing but we know how to traverse through the elements in an array using a for loop. After that, searching, you know, we have done both the linear search and the binary search, in which we will be finding the position of an element. First, we will find the index and we will add 1 to it to get the position of the of a particular element in an array. Insertion means finding the inserting a new element in a data structure. Deleting means removing an element from a data structure. Sorting means if you want to order it in any logical order, that is either if you want to order the elements in an ascending order or descending order. And merging means combining two data structures. Or if you are having two sorted arrays, if you want to combine and make it as a single sorted array, that is known as merging. All these, from the English term, you can understand traversing, but you have to count it and learn traversing, searching, inserting, deleting, sorting, and merging. So these are the operations. So we will see one by one. What is the first operation? The operation of traversing. Traversing means that it is accessing and processing each record. Here, which is the record here? Here we can tell it as each of the elements which are present, or the numbers which are present in the array. When it is accessed and processed exactly once, it is known as traversing. The traversing can be either for printing the value in the array, or you can process. Suppose I want to add 2 to each of the numbers which are present in the array. Listen here, if I want to add 2 to each of the elements which are present in the array. So this is also known as traversing. While accessing, we are just adding 2 to all the elements in the array. So you can either access the elements in the array and print it, or you can process each element in the array. So here, if so this process of so here it was 23. I'm just adding and 2 to it and making 25. So each of these elements accessing and processing exactly once becomes a traversing process. So in order to do traversing process, you can use a for loop, right? You can, in the example of arrays, you can, this is one program for us. So we will execute it as a C program for traversing and processing through all the numbers which are present in the array, or the data which is present in the array, using a for loop. So that process of accessing and processing is known as traversing. The next operation is searching. What is searching? Finding the position of a number within with a given search value. Suppose I am asking to find the location of 67. What you will do, if you are going for the linear search, what you will do, you will be accessing each element and check with whether it is equal to, you will compare and see whether it is equal to the search value. So you will be first taking the element which is present in the index number 0. You will compare and see whether it is equal to 67. No. So you will move on to the next element and you will compare and see whether it is equal to 67. Likewise, we will continue until we find the element at the index location 4. So we will be adding 1 to it to return the position. So this process of this operation in which we are finding the position of a number with a given search value is known as searching. So this is a second operation which you are going to study in for all the linear and non-linear data structures. Now the third operation is inserting. The term meaning, insertion is a process of adding a new record or a new number to the existing data structure. In this data structure, which is an array, which is a linear data structure. So what is the size of the array? What is the size of the array? Abrar, what is the size of the array? Abrar is there? Huh? I'll mark you absent. Abrar, are you there?
10, ma'am.
So 10 is the, but now how many elements are present? The size is 10, but number of elements present is only 5. Suppose I want to insert a new record or a new number in the existing data structure. Suppose I want to insert a number called number 12 at the index location 3. What I will have to do, I have to make a position, right? I have to remove 52 from this location to the next location, but I should not delete 67. 67 also has to be shifted to the next location. So my operation of insertion has to happen in such a way that the elements which are already present in the array should not be getting affected. So what I have to do, first I will copy the last element in the array to the next location. Understood? This is also a program for you. So you understand, first I will copy the element which is present in the last index position to the next location, and then again copy the next last but next element to the last location or to the next location. And then what I will do, I will copy the element into that empty location. So this will be the process of insertion. Insertion is adding a new record to the data structure. Insertion is nothing but adding a new record to the data structure. So this operation is also we have to perform on all the linear and non-linear data structures. Now we are moving on to the next data structure operation of deletion. What is deletion? Removing a data or a number from the existing data structure. I'm showing the example with only arrays because we studied only arrays. Suppose I want to delete 12. Just now we inserted 12, right? If we want to delete 12 at the index location 12, what index location 3, what I have to do? I have to, there is no such process like deleting directly over there. We will just override the element at the index location 12 with the next number. So what we will do is we will copy the number 52 to this location. So I want to delete 12 means I will overwrite 52 to the location where the element has to be deleted, and then I copy the next or the last element to this previous location. So this process is known as deletion. So this also we have to execute for both the linear and non-linear data structure. Deletion is nothing but removing data from the data structure. Next operation is known as sorting. Sorting is nothing but arranging the elements in some logical order, right? We have seen only two types of sorting, that is ascending and descending. In last semester, we studied how to sort the elements in ascending and descending order. So you have in the first array, index number starting from 0 to 9, I have the elements which are not at all sorted, right? So what I'll be doing is I'll be using any of the sorting techniques, the normal sorting which we have studied in the last semester, right? We will be just comparing with the A of I, if it is greater than A of J. We will be swapping the elements, right? Either that method or we will be going for bubble sort or insertion sort. Now there are many sorting techniques which are having its own benefits, merge sort, quick sort. So we will study many of the sorting operation here in this semester. So you can follow any of the sorting technique and you will be sorting the elements in the ascending or descending order. So that operation of arranging the elements in some logical order or ascending or descending order is known as sorting. So here the first element, which is the least element in the array, which is 27, will be 25 will be copied to the first index location of 0. Then comes 27, then 29, 30, 32, 33, 35. So this will be the ascending order of sorting the elements. So this operation of arranging the elements in the ascending or descending order is known as sorting. Now the next operation is merging. Merging is, as a term meaning is, right, combining the elements of two different sorted files. It can be either sorted or unsorted. I'm just showing sorted files into a single sorted file. Merging means just combining two or combining two different data structures or two different sorted files. It can be either sorted or unsorted. In my case, I have taken two sorted elements. In the first array, I have elements 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. In the second array, I have the elements 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now I am going to merge or combine the elements of two, these are two sorted files, right? So two sorted files into a single sorted file. So how we will be merging? We'll be taking the elements from the both the arrays, and then again when we are merging, there are techniques in which we can merge the elements after comparing which is a lesser element, and again when we are merging also we will get the elements in the sorted order. So merging is nothing but combining the elements in from two different data structures of similar data structures, but if you want to have it sorted also you can have. So these are the different data structure operations. So you can just list out. Traversing is accessing and processing each record exactly once. Searching means finding the location or the position of a given search value. Insertion means adding a new data to a data structure. Deleting means removing a data. Sorting means arranging the elements in ascending or descending order. Merging means combining the elements from two data structures. So these are the data structure operations. Now, so these two are the important questions. Now the third question, which is repeatedly asked for the university question paper, is the abstract data type. Listen here, abstract data type. abstract data type. We have seen primary data type. So just in this chapter also we have said primitive data type, non-primitive data type, and also in the last semester we studied about the derived data type, user-defined data type. All this we have studied. So what is now abstract data type? Abstract data type is also a data type, right? But its behavior is defined by a set of values, data values, and set of operations. Abstract data type is also a data type, okay? But its behavior is defined by. So you told I can tell all the BCA students are all BCA students, right? Either of A batch or B batch. Then I can explain the characters of a particular person to identify that person, right? Like that, each of the students will be having his own name and how he is handling each subject, right? Or how he will be handling other maybe he is good in extracurricular activity like singing, dancing, and all. So each one will be having his own behavior and character. So just like that, each of these data type will be defined by its own way of storing the data or the values and set of operations which are possible on these data which is stored. Got it? So abstract data type is a data type which is defined by the behavior of storing, how it is storing the values, and also the set of operations which are possible on these values. Okay, so just now we studied about all the data structures, nonlinear and linear data structures. I told about the arrays, linked list, stacks, queues. Each of these data structure, there is a definite way of storing the data, and there are certain operations. Each of these operations, in the previous slide I was telling about traversing, insertion, deletion, and all. No, each of these operations are performed differently for each of these data structures. Internally, all these operations are possible. Insertion is possible in arrays also, in linked list also, in trees and graphs also, but the way it is performing these operations internally is different. All the linear and non-linear data structures are able to store the data as well as do all these operations, but the way in which they store the data and also perform these operations internally is different. If I delete one element from the linked list, it will be getting deleted, but the inside operation, how it is getting deleted, is different in the case of linked list, and it is different in the case of queues or in the case of stacks. But I was just showing only the example of arrays. So how it is getting deleted is hidden from us, but the number will be deleted. So why we are telling it as an abstract data type? Abstract, the term is hidden. Internally, how this operation is done is, or the implementation of these operations are done is hidden from us, but these data types are able to store the data values and perform all these operations. Alright, so this is a very important topic which is repeatedly asked. An abstract data type defined. So two things it will be having. It will be having a data representation for each of the object of a particular data type. Data representation, how we will be storing data, or how each of these data structure will be representing data for each of the object of a particular data type, and how it performs such operation, a set of operations. Which are the operations which are possible? Which are the operations which are possible? Which are the operations which are possible on a data structure? Just now we studied, right? Abhishek MP. What are the different operations which are possible on a data structure? Abhishek MP.
Ma'am?
Tell me, what are the different operations which are possible on a data structure?
Traversing, inserting, deleting.
Okay. So what are the different ways of storing the data depending upon the data structure? Now we will be able to, in arrays means it will be arranged in a linear fashion, and you can access it with the index number. In linked list, it is like a collection of nodes. So each of these abstract data type will be having its own data representation, and it will have a set of operations. So abstract data type, I'll continue in the next class, but still an abstract data type, it is also given as a short form of ADT, refers to a set of data values and operation. For the definition, you should have two things: a set of data values, that means how we are storing data in each of these data structures, and the operations. We studied about all the operations which are possible, right? That are applicable for these data type, hiding the implementation details. So we are all hidden from the implementation details. We know that if we perform insertion in this linear data structure of stack, it will get deleted. The data element, it will get deleted. If you do insertion, it will get inserted. All these operations will be performed on these data structures, but the implementation details